Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss the 2021 2 hour and 17-minute long film Dear Evan Hansen. So this stars Tony Award-winning actor Ben Platt playing the character he won the Tony for, which is interesting because he's in his early 30s playing a 17-year-old. Semantics. Amy Adams is in this. Julianne Moore is in this. A bunch of the people are in this. I never had an interest in the show Dear Evan Hansen because I always heard strange things about it, that the plot never makes sense, but the music is incredible. And I know some of the songs, theater kid myself, growing up in that environment. So the songs would pop up in my feeds and over the years, because it's been out for quite some time, the Broadway show. So, like, I was familiar with it. This is an interesting project because the songs are incredible, but the story is awful. And the character of Evan is an awful character who does a terrible, terrible, horrible thing. So I'm very conflicted because how am I supposed to feel after watching this? I've never seen the musical. I don't know any comparison, what they left out, what they changed, nothing. I have no comparison. I have only the story that was provided to me. And this character of Evan Hansen is anxious and he's depressed and he's, self-harm mindset. And so he breaks his arm after letting go of a branch of a tree after claiming he fell out of a tree, but he didn't. So that was the whole other thing. And he breaks his arm, and then this kid, Connor Murphy, who's just another awful person in school, signs his cast, and that's it. He's the only person to sign his cast. And then he winds up unaliving himself that night. And then his parents his mom and stepdad find in his possession a letter that says Dear Evan Hansen on it, that Evan was tasked by his therapist to write as homework. Evan's supposed to write letters to himself. Dear Evan Hansen, today's going to be a great day because X, Y, and Z. And he writes the letter. There's just so many plot flaws in this. He writes the letter at school. He prints it. Connor takes it, realizes that it's about his sister, that Evan can't express his emotions because he likes Zoe, who happens to be Connor's sister. And he's like, oh, you're doing this to make me get angry and so that way I can get in trouble and blah. So he takes the letter. He folds it. It's just a piece of paper. He folds it, puts it in his pocket. His parents find it on him that day later. And then he's called to the principal office for his parents to give him back the letters. Oh yeah, we found this on him. This was the last thing he had. He wanted to give it to you. Bro, I don't understand logic in this because it's not in a sealed envelope. So how the hell do you know? How do you know that it was meant to get to him if you don't read the letter? So you have to have read the letter because it says, Dear Evan Hansen, blah, 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 me. Right? Signed me, or sincerely me, whatever it says, right? So the parents have had to have read the letter, noticing what it is, and me is Connor, because it's on his person, but it's not. So then they confront him, and then Evan lies and says, yeah, I was friends with your son, but he wasn't. And then it's just this whole snowball effect of the entire 2 hours of this film is just awful stuff happening to this poor family, who, well, a very rich family, poor in regards to poor circumstance of son no longer with them. It's just an awful story in regards to this main character is a terrible person. And I have no sympathies for him because he full well knows that he's doing a terrible thing, but he does it anyway. So how am I supposed to feel about this? But then the plot flaw at the end, when Evan then gives the letter, like a picture of the letter, the first main letter, after forging emails, all these other things, right? Terrible things. The picture of the email, of the letter, Dear Evan Hansen, the very first letter, Evan sends to his friend, at that point, Alana, who is organizing a Connor Memorial Project. Like, it's a big thing. Like, Evan makes this speech about, you will be found. It's okay to ask for help. Like, a beautiful, gorgeous moment. Incredible songs. But it was all a lie. It was all a lie. And then Alana then decides to take that, even that letter, and even though she was told not to distribute it, and distributes it, and then all hell breaks loose, and then the truth is revealed, and then it's revealed that Connor was never friends with Evan. Evan just lied to everybody. Lied. And then it was a matter of, oh, well, I needed this family support, and you needed some positive story, so we're in this together. But no! You don't get to make those decisions for someone. This was such a problematic story. And it's unfortunate because it won so many awards and so many people like it. And I don't know why. Because it's not a good story. It's not a good story. It's a bad person doing bad stuff. And I'm not championing that. The plot flaw at the end, when the letter is then revealed, and then Zoe reads it, the parents read it, saying, oh, why do you have Connor's unaliving note? Like, he wrote this letter before he passed. But, like, bro, that's the letter that you gave him in the principal's office. You knew it existed. You had to have read it. So how is there any surprise that, oh my goodness, why is this here? How could he wish that everything is so different? Bro, you had to have read the letter to know to give it to Evan. I need someone to explain that plot flaw to me, because that's the precipice of how the story starts, is the parents give the letter back to him. And he just chooses not to tell them, no, it was a homework assignment for my therapist. He then tells them at the end. I don't get it. It's unfortunate because it's done so well on Broadway. It did so well within awards. It's done so well for actors when Jordan Fisher was in this, I wanted to see this so bad. I wanted to see the show so bad specifically because Jordan Fisher was in it. Conveniently, I got to see Jordan Fisher on Sweeney Todd, and then now he's in Hadestown. Jordan Fisher is incredible, but that was my only one desire to ever see this show, knowing full well that I would have problems with the stories. And that was the thing. I always kept seeing here and there that, oh, there's problems with the story, and Evan's not actually a good person and stuff. And it's just weird because watching it now, watching 2 hours and 17 minutes worth of it, realizing it's not a singing and dancing musical. There was one dance number with a fictitious Connor and a fictitious Evan, which it was a great scene. But this is more of a mind musical where the characters are singing instead of speaking, kind of a thing. So it's like everybody else is hearing what they're saying, but they happen to be saying it in song. Mind musical. Yeah, that's a good way for it. But this is a weird story with a massive plot flaw, which is the precipice of how the story starts. I don't understand it. I don't know why it was ever approved. And how the songs are just so absolutely iconic, and it makes no sense because how do you have such iconic songs in a weird story? I don't get it. It's a disjointment, which does not make sense to me. Someone please explain it to me. Thank you. Dear Evan Hansen, 2021 Universal film. I think Universal did this film. On to the next review. Mahalo.